First of all, eugenics was about thinking about the well-being of the race and the state. So, and it was about getting rid of people who were considered as morally insane and financially consuming. So it was about the well-being of the state and the race. And at least, I haven't met anybody who would say publicly, at least, or that these present practices about this. Present practices are about individual choices, and doctors, obviously, most of them tend to think that they are serving people, because people do not want to have children with impairments. So it is about individual choice. It is not about, so I think it's just not right to call this eugenic. It's different to say that there are a lot of ethically problematic things going on, or some practices are unethical or immoral, but it's not same as eugenics. I think it's just rhetoric is not.
So you think the term backdoor eugenics, it's a phrase that Troy Duster uses to describe exactly these, eugenics coming in the back door through individual choice, which is what Anna's referring to. You think that just doesn't make any sense?
And I think it's hidden by individual choice, right? Like, I think that what I'm trying to say is there is that broader piece of it's better for community if we don't have disability. And I think that is the message people are trying to get across.
If that's the case, maybe so. That sounds alarming. I haven't heard that. I haven't had that impression that it's about that our societies and our communities would be better off without disabled people.
Impossible to believe. It's impossible to believe. You'd have to suspend their disbelief.
No, that is.
You haven't heard that.
Yes, I have heard that, but it's a really marginal viewpoint. That's considered as really extreme right-wing politicians might. But I haven't. Any politician in Finland wouldn't say that aloud.
The Saskatchewan
neither would they.
Prevention of birth defects that specifically targets Down syndrome and has a stated goal of eliminating Down syndrome. And that's the government of Saskatchewan.
Okay.
I think there's two dimensions to the issues here. One dimension actually is a definitional question, and I don't want to get too wrapped up in this except to say that it makes the argument more difficult. That the actual sort of strict definition of eugenics is that you're making a change, in a sense, in the gene pool. And so that you believe that disability is primarily carried by heredity, and that you're doing something to break that chain of heredity. And the reason I'm saying this is not because I think it's important that we use that definition, but most of the people who we might be arguing with are using that definition. In that definition, getting rid of Down syndrome is not eugenic.
See the existence of a test that serves to eliminate them from the human family as part of that.
What?
There is no two ways about it.
But
No, certainly.
But not very many people with Down syndrome have children with Down syndrome, is what I'm saying. But I'm not saying that makes it okay.
The captain of the submarine, the assistant captain of the submarine, arguing, well, is the water coming in or is the air going out?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, there's some.
Well, the semantics, though, I think are important. I'm actually very curious with that. I think you made a point that is very compelling, because if there's any chance that we're using the wrong terminology here, even if it's the right concept, we could be deflating our cause if it's going to just be greeted with a sense of.
Yeah,
So I'd be curious to know how you would propose maybe articulating this problem, this crime.
Well, because I mean, in bioethics, I'm talking now about philosophical bioethics. There's a logical flaw called not playing the Nazi card, which is exactly this. But like I said, I don't know what's the reality in Canada, But from Finnish perspective, from European perspective, there is no eugenic movement. I mean, at least officially, governmental.
Is there another movement though that would be articulated differently that has similar characteristics? And if
there
so,
may be another movement that is ethically very wrong or problematic.
Is there a label for it though? I'd be very curious to know.
Sorry?
Is there a label for it?
Like a term.
A term, a word,
What do you call that?
phrase, or is it?
I don't know a phrase. I'd rather pinpoint out
the principle.
what is ethically wrong in certain practice. That's helpful.
Yeah.
Say, and labels are not very.
But they can be damaging. But maybe if we didn't have eugenics, we had another word. Maybe this audience would be more filled.